Today I want to share an amazing Indian potato cashew curry recipe and the accommodating naan recipe as well. I'll split the recipe into two parts, the curry and the naan. First, the ingredients for the curry. We need 4 medium-sized potatoes, 1 large onion, 200 milliliters or 1 cup of milk, 125 grams of crème fraiche or half a cup, 2 tablespoons of unseasoned cashew nuts, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 3/4 of a teaspoon of ground coriander and cumin, 2 teaspoons of garam masala, and 1 teaspoon of salt. We need a clove of garlic and a piece of ginger as well, but both those can be subsidized by 1 teaspoon of garlic and ginger powder. First, we got to cook the potatoes. So, we wash them to get rid of any remaining dirt and then put them in a pot without water. Then fill the pot until the potatoes are submerged in the water and then put the filled pot onto the stove at high heat at the beginning and then medium once the water starts boiling. Before we proceed with the onion, we can add together all the spices we need later in a small bowl. Mix the chili powder, the smoked paprika, the coriander, the cumin, the garam masala, the salt, and if you chose garlic and ginger powder, then those as well. Once we took care of the spices, we can start with the onion. First, we cut away the opposite side of the root, and then we halve the onion. We got to remove the most outer shell of both onion halves. Now we can cut the halves vertically 5 to 6 times towards the root. Then one more cut horizontally. Make sure to not cut into the root of the onion to keep the stability that the root provides. Now slice the onion really thin. After we've cut the onion, we can put another pot onto the stove in which we will make the curry. Add some vegetable oil to the pot and set the plate to medium heat. Once the oil is hot, add in the onions and let them get glassy. In the meantime, if you choose to use a garlic clove and ginger piece, remove the shell of the clove and cut it into small bits. Peel the ginger and cut it up as well. Otherwise, proceed straight through to crushing and chopping the cashew nuts. Once crushed, add them to the spice bowl as well. When the onions turned glassy, we can add the spices, the crushed cashews, and the garlic and ginger. Let it fry for a short while as you constantly stir it, so the spices don't get burned. Now add half the milk. Let it boil and simmer for a short while. If you want a homogeneous curry, you can blend everything in the pot now with a hand blender. But be very, very careful. There is a high risk of splatter. Whatever you choose. After that, we can add the crème fraiche and the rest of the milk while constantly stirring. Bring it to a boil and then let it simmer on low heat. Lastly, we gotta take care of the boiled potatoes. You can check those by piercing them with a fork or any other spiky utensil. If they have almost no resistance while piercing, they are done. Take the pot off the stove and drain the water. Now we can wait a little bit to let the potatoes cool, or we can try to peel the skin even if they are too hot to handle. I chose the latter. But either way, once you peel the potatoes, cut them into bite-sized pieces and add them to the curry. Or pour the curry over the potatoes on the plate. It's your choice. And with that, we are finished with the curry. Enjoy! Now onwards to the naan bread. As for the ingredients, we need about 150 grams of flour, about 3/3 of a cup, half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, 50 milliliters of milk or a 1/4 cup, 3 tablespoons of butter or about 25 grams, and 65 grams of yogurt, which is about, I don't know, 1/4 of a cup. First, we got to mix all dry ingredients in a bowl. The flour, the baking soda, the sugar, and the salt. After that, we got to melt the butter. You can do that in a microwave, but be sure to cut a piece of butter into small bits, so they don't pop while they get heated. We let the butter cool and add it to a separate bowl with the milk and the yogurt. Once added, we got to mix them together. After that, we can add them to the dry ingredients. Once everything is in one bowl, we must mix it and knead it thoroughly until we get a nice homogeneous clump of dough. Let the dough rest for at least half an hour underneath the bowl. After the dough is finished with resting, we can sever it into 4 equally sized pieces. Those pieces we got to roll out thin, about 2 millimeters thick. We strive to achieve a round shape for the pan. Put a suitable sized pan on the stove at medium heat and add some butter or vegetable oil and try to spread it before adding the rolled out dough. Once the dough is added, we just got to wait until there are bubbles rising on the surface of the dough. Then flip it around and give it about the same time. Once both sides are partially browned, the naan is finished and we can enjoy a really nice Indian curry and homemade naan bread. Enjoy! If you want to make both recipes, you should start with the naan bread until the dough has to rise. After that, you can start with the curry recipe. The potatoes and the rising of the naan bread should take about the same time. So once you are finished cooking the potatoes, you should be able to proceed further with the naan bread to get everything ready at the same time. And once we are finished with the curry and are frying the naan bread, we can take the time to start clean up the mess we've created in the kitchen. As always, be mindful if you choose to use any cleaning supplies near food. We do not want to ruin our dish. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them down below in the comment section. I will read everything.